thank God every day for Straight Road Virtual Solutions. I've always wanted to work from home and have the freedom to work my own schedule. I work the hours I want, and the best part is my money is in my bank account on payday as promised. Some people said this was too good to be true. Let me tell you something. Edward has his stuff together. He's the owner and very approachable. He provides so much support to you that you don't feel alone. If you need anything, he is right there to help you through whatever situation you have. The compensation plan is awesome. If you're looking to supplement your income or completely replace it, this is the best way that I have found. You cannot go wrong with Straight Road Virtual Solutions.
I will not be returning to anyone's office now that I have found Straight Road Virtual Solutions. They have connected me with so many clients that we all know and love, and I make really good money and I can work from the comfort of my own home. It is truly phenomenal. I used to get jealous in the past when my friends and family could pick up and go on a trip and I was stuck at work in an office at a desk because I didn't have the vacation time. Now that is not an issue. I can work, cover my expenses, and still take the trip. Best part is I make my own schedule. I am my own boss, so no more asking for time off and not getting it. I do what I want when I work. I can work my hours and still have the time to take my trips. It's absolutely amazing. And so if I'm being honest, it will be a blizzard in the Sahara Desert before I go back to anyone's office. So thank you so much, Straight Road Virtual Solutions.
All right. Well, good morning, or good afternoon, or whatever time you're watching this video. I decided I wanted to take the opportunity to share my story um, as far as my experience with the Arise platform. So the title might be just a little bit deceiving because what I'm saying is I'm going to share with you the experience that I had at first when dealing with Arise Virtual Solutions, and then how it changed into something that became very rewarding. And I'm going to tell you the story from beginning to end so that there's no confusion about what I'm sharing with you. I was prompted to tell my story because there's a lot of people out here that are bad-mouthing Arise Virtual Solutions. There's a lot of people who report that they've had bad experiences with the organization. They didn't enjoy it. They felt like they were cheated. They felt like they weren't paid properly. There's just so many issues that took place for a lot of people, and they're sharing the story as if Arise is a bad company. Let me just start by saying, number one, Arise Virtual Solutions is not a scam. Okay? You can actually make very good money. You can make a living working for Arise if you select a client or multiple clients and you work the number of hours that you need financially in order to be able to make your ends meet. But I'm going to tell you the story of what happened to me and how my experience was so horrible in the beginning, but I was given some information that actually changed the game for me. I'm going to tell you how, and you're going to understand everything from there. What you have to understand is that Arise is a BPO company, which basically is designed to outsource certain tasks of a corporation or a business to someone else. And this company primarily chooses to support Fortune 500 companies by providing customer service support to those companies. And so what Arise does is they have a network, a massive network of thousands of people who are working from home to provide customer service to those organizations. And so they contract you, or they contract a business that will contract you. Okay? Now, when I first started with Arise, there was no decision on how you joined. Either you joined as an independent business owner, or you joined under an independent business owner. We hear the term IBO so often, and what I want to explain to you is being an IBO means that you're coming into the business, you're joining, you're partnering with Arise to provide agents to them that will work to provide customer service to the clients that your agents choose to work for. Now what they've done is they also have a new element that you can consider if you choose to, and that element is to come in as a sole proprietor. Now, as a sole proprietor, what Arise has done is removed the need for an IBO, an independent business owner. So you don't have to sign up under an independent business owner to join their network of agents that service these clients. The thing that I want to be clear on is being an IBO is an amazing experience, but when I started with Arise, I joined under an independent business owner. And I was cool with it. The client that I was working for, I enjoyed working for. It was the tax client, or the tax prep service client. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the work. I was working in the school system here in my town, and I was working that job full time. And then I would come home in the evenings and supplement my income by working part-time hours to service this particular client through my IBO, and the IBO through Arise. Okay, so you have three tiers of people between you and Arise, or the client. Okay, so the way that it works is the client is here. Has hired Arise to provide a network of agents that will provide customer service support for them whenever they need it. So it's on demand for the client. And the way that it works is as an agent that works for this client within the Arise network, I actually can pick and choose when I want to work. I put in when I want to, and they manage the hours and the number of people that work for this client at certain times with a system that allows you to pick and choose the intervals that you're going to work. And that's basically all it is to it. So you choose the client, you choose the hours that you want to work for that week, and you make sure you work those hours. Very simple, no problem. And I was making about $8 an hour. And I did it for about maybe 3 months with no problem. I started the class. The classes that you take to learn how to service the client, you must do for free. You're not being paid for that, because remember, when you join in this organization, you're not joining as an employee, you're joining as a contractor. Okay, and so I did that. I signed up with the client. I took the class. Once I completed the class, I began servicing, and no big deal. Everything was going well. But one day I happened to be on a forum, and I can't remember if it was Facebook or some other forum. I can't remember. I want to say more so it was Facebook. But anyway, we were in the group and we were talking about service revenue, how much people are earning and that sort of thing. And so I just threw in my little comment. I said, the people were complaining that they didn't get paid on a set date. They didn't know when they were going to get paid. They just got paid, whenever the independent business owner they were working for chose to pay them. And so I threw in my little comment about my independent business owner that I was working for, because I was thinking, well, I must have the best independent business owner because she pays me on the schedule. She has a pay schedule that she uses, and whatever that date is on the schedule, you're going to have your money in your bank account on that day. And so I loved it. And so I threw in my little comment, well, I work for so-and-so. I'm not going to put anybody on blast because I don't know if she's still doing the business or not. So I don't want to damage her rep. But I will say to anybody that chooses to join within the network, make sure you join under someone who is going to be forthcoming about everything related to the business. What are their fees? How are they going to pay you hourly? You have to know the way that all works. And so here's what happened to me. I made my little comment in the forum to kind of brag about the fact that my IBO was awesome because she pays me on schedule. I have never missed a payment, and the hours that are tabulated, are correct. I always compare because I keep my planner here and I know exactly how much money I'm supposed to be earning in a given week or in a 2-week period or however the pay was. I knew what amount I should be earning, and so I made sure that I checked and looked at it, and every pay period my money was straight, and so I was good. Well, one of the people responded back to me in that forum, and she said, "You seem like you're very happy, but I can guarantee you, I know that group. I used to work with her too, and I'm going to tell you, she is not paying you nowhere near what the client is going to pay you." Okay. Well, I mean, I understand that the independent business owner, if they're providing direct deposit and customer support and that sort of thing, which I was kind of a self-starter anyway, so I really didn't need much support from the independent business owner. And so I was working unbothered, unconcerned. But when the person in the forum said she's not going to pay you nowhere near what the client is paying her to pay you, so you might want to check into it because you seem pretty happy, but I'm telling you, you're probably not making anywhere near what that client is paying. And I said, well, I understand that I can't make 100% of what the client is paying because I'm sure that my independent business owner that I'm working for would have to make some form of revenue in order to maintain their company. So that wasn't really a problem for me. But where my problem was is in the way that my independent business owner presented the opportunity. She told me that the client is going to pay $8 per hour for my services. She never alluded to me that she was making more money than that per hour when I work. And that was deceptive. I didn't take too much offense to it because if it's a small amount, not a problem. But I'm a firm believer in being forthcoming. So anyway, I went back to the independent business owner. I contacted her on the phone. Well, no, I take that back. I started by trying to reach out to her by email, and I never got a response back to my question. My question was, what is the real, and this was my question. I asked her straight up what this was. I said, what is the real amount, what is the real hourly rate that this client is paying for me to service? I just like to know what the real rate is because I've been told that you're not paying me exactly what the client is paying. And I don't want you to feel as if I'm upset about that initially, but I feel a little disturbed about it because you're not forthcoming about that. You told me the $8 per hour that I was getting is exactly what you were getting to pay me. And that's the way you had it look. So I'm concerned. I'd like to know what is the real deal here. She never responded to my email. So about 4 days later, I called her. And I must have caught her by surprise or something. I'm not really sure. But when I called her and she said, "Oh, hi, Edward, how are you?" Hang on one second. That's a call coming in from one of my agents. So hold on one moment for you. I can't neglect her. Hold on. Okay, guys, I'm back. Had to take care of a situation with one of my agents that was calling, and so I've gotten that taken care of now, and I am back to telling my story. So the last point where I left off, like I said, my independent business owner that I was working for never responded back to me. with my question. And when I called her on the phone and she answers and she says, "Hi, Edward," and I told her, I said, "Listen, I received feedback in a forum on Facebook that you are known for underpaying your agents um, and not paying nearly what an agent should be making based on what the client chooses to pay." I said, "Now I want you to understand that making some money or taking some money from the hourly rate is not problematic to me as long as it's reasonable. Because I bust my ass every day going to work full time, and then I come home and work the committed hours that I scheduled myself to work for here to supplement my income, and I don't want that shortchanged in any way." She says, "I understand what you're saying, Edward, but I don't have the time to look that up right now. So if you don't mind, let me take the time later today. I'm going to pull that information for you, and I'm going to call you back or send you an email and let you know what the hourly rate is from the client themselves." No problem. And that was the end of our conversation. I will have you know that from that date forward, I have not heard from this woman since. At that point in time, I hadn't heard from her. She didn't respond back. 3 weeks go by, and after about the 5th day of waiting for her response to me, because I know it doesn't take that long to look up the information, I chose to quit. I didn't want to work for her anymore. If you can't be forthcoming with me about your operation and what you're doing, I don't want to work for you. Now, interestingly enough, any hours that I committed to, even after that conversation with her, the hours that I committed to, I still work them because my commitment means something. And if I tell you I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it. And so I scheduled the hours continually and continued working. I made sure I worked at least the minimum of 15 that they wanted. And I did that normal, like normal, no hiccups. And the interesting thing was there was no hiccups in my pay either. So I was receiving my payments up to that point. But I finally decided since she can't be forthcoming with me like she should, then I don't want to work for her anymore. And so I decided that I'm going to just leave this alone. And I want to join another independent business owner and work for them. I didn't know anyone else that was actually working the business anyway, but I said I would do my research and find somebody that I could sign up under and go from there. And so I contacted Arise. And Arise says, well, in order for you to service under another independent business owner, you're going to have the current independent business owner that you're under release you from them. And then you can choose a new company to work for, and that's how you do it. I said, okay, no problem. So that was the end of the chat with Arise. I knew what I had to do, so I was going to do that. And so I contacted her by email again. I contacted her by phone, and I'm telling her, listen, I don't want to work under you anymore. I don't like the way that you're doing business. If there's a discrepancy with my pay, that's fine. I gave you my request. I wanted to know what was the original rate the client was paying. Incidentally, what I failed to tell you was before making the decision to quit, I found out what the original rate of pay was for this client. And I was furious. I was extremely furious. I found out because one of the agents happened to get an email from their IBO, the way that a friend of mine who was an agent under an IBO, and I wanted to join that IBO, that's what I was trying to do. The agent sent me an email with the flyer of the announcement, and because that email came from her IBO, the IBO emails that get those announcements, when the independent business owner logs into the portal of Arise and looks at the client opportunity, it tells them what the service revenue is going to be for the agents. And so she forwarded that email to me, and the email showed that that client at that time was paying $16 per hour. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, my IBO is paying me $8. So she's literally taking 50% of my hourly rate away to bank for herself or for her company. And I'm only leaving with $8 an hour. And that's the reason why I said, you know what, I don't want to do that. So I decided to quit. And I wanted to join the IBO that my friend was under. And so I said, I want to join that IBO. But my IBO would not respond back to me. I sent numerous emails. I made numerous phone calls. I left tons of voicemails. I think I may have called her about maybe 5 to 10 times in a day for about 2 weeks, and I got no response from her. So I said, okay, no problem. So I went back to Arise, and I said, Arise, listen, I'm getting ready to drop this whole thing because you said that in order for me to move to another IBO and work for them, I would have to have my current IBO release me from them so that I could sign up with another one. And my IBO is not even responding back to me. So I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm just going to find something else to do. I'll probably find a part-time job or something like that. And the agent responded, well, if your IBO is not going to release you, then why don't you just sign up as an IBO yourself? Really? You can do that? I thought that in order to be an IBO, that you had to have some major corporation of some sort and in order to do it. And so I really wasn't thinking that I could actually pursue this and do it, right? But ironically, that's what the agent on the chat with Arise told me. She said he or she, I don't know, I can't remember. But they said, become your own IBO. Just go back to the portal. Click that you're registering a new business. You have to have your EIN number. It has to be incorporated or at least pursue an LLC. And you need to have a business bank account because we don't pay money directly to individuals. It has to go to a business bank account. Okay, no problem. I'm on it, right? And so I pursue that. Now, of course, in my state where I live, in order to be able to develop that business, I wanted to have it as an LLC because I was not trying to do an S corporation. I wasn't trying to do a C corp or anything like that. Taxes will be astronomical for that, so I didn't want to go that route. But I did do the LLC, and that's how I incorporated. I did an LLC. And setting up the LLC was very easy. I sent in the paperwork, I paid the fee, and got the approval for the LLC. Had the EIN number that was set up by the IRS, and so I'm good to go now. I then take that paperwork and I go to the bank, and I set up my bank account. And once I have that done, I then go into the portal and I log on and I tell it that I'm going to register a new business. And then I'm putting myself under that new business because my ID as a client support professional or customer service professional, whatever the CSP stands for, I have my number as an agent already. And now I'm going to transition to being an IBO. And so that's what I did. So my profile was moved from her IBO to mine. And I was very happy. And of course my SOW and everything was set up under my IBO now, and I'm good to go. And of course I see the information from Arise and showing the rate of pay. I start getting the invoices and I pay myself like I want to be paid because, hey, it's my business. I'm an IBO now, right? And so I'm very, very happy to be able to do this business on my own. Then I said, well, now that I'm an IBO, I bet there's a lot of other people out here who are looking for this opportunity to work, and they're being conned, gypped, mistreated, ignored, just as I was. And they're trying to establish supplemental income for the income they already have working on their regular job. And are unable to do it successfully because they're working under someone who's trying to create their financial freedom on your back by taking the money that you earn. Now, don't get me wrong. I want everybody to understand this. I'm not bashing IBOs because they charge a fee or because they skim off the hourly rate a little bit. That's not my problem. My problem is when IBOs do that and are not forthcoming about it. In other words, when I sign up with you, give me the respect and give me the right to make my decision about whether I'm going to go through with this based on the terms, the real terms of the opportunity with you. So as an IBO, I said when I start recruiting people to join my business, that's going to be my number one. I want to make sure that my agents are fully aware of how my system is going to work. Now, of course, at the time, I didn't have a system. I had no system at all. I was brand new, and I was the only agent working under my IBO. So that's my story. Like I said, I've heard stories far worse than that. I've heard stories where people actually were working for the IBO. They were committed to their hours and they were working their hours and actually didn't get paid at all. So I've heard horror stories like that. The reason why Arise developed such a bad reputation is because as an agent like me, I could easily have said, this is Arise's fault. This is their fault. They shouldn't allow people to do this. Da 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 da. They're not allowing people to do it. We are allowing people to do it. We as the agents are allowing people to do this to us. Because number one, if you don't give me clear-cut information about what I'm going to be doing and how much I'm going to be paid and how you came to that number, if I don't get that information, I'm not signing up under you. I don't want to work for you and you can't be clear about everything. Who takes a job with any employer or business and doesn't know how much they're going to get paid and when? Do you know anybody that's stupid enough to do that? Well, ironically, there's a lot of people that are stupid enough to do that. But what I say is, let's not be stupid. Let's do our research. Let's do our investigations. Let's ask questions and get the answers that you need before you sign up with an IBO. But that's the way it worked for me. Like I said, the start of my experience with Arise was horrific, not because of Arise, but because of the IBO that I signed up under. So I will say, when you sign up with an IBO, you have to understand that that experience with that IBO is going to make or break you and give you either a good or a bad experience to remember. I want to make sure that when my agents join me, that you're going to have a great experience. And we actually have fun doing what we do. And I'm not going to go into details about how my system works, but if you want to learn how my system works, I encourage you to visit my website at straightroadvirtualsolutions.com. That is the name of my company. And if you want to learn how to become your own IBO, I have an e-course there that you can sign up for and take the class. And it breaks down step by step exactly what I did and the system that I developed to become an IBO within the Arise Network. But not just an IBO, to become a successful IBO. One of the things I do know, and IBOs, listen to me carefully, some of you might be dealing with a lot of these issues too. Bringing people into your business, you're having them to sign up with you, and then all of a sudden they sign up in a class and then they don't show up for the class. Or, they sign up in your program, they're on your roster, but they never do anything. If you're experiencing that kind of stuff, I have solutions for that, to encourage your agents to make the right moves in order to make the money that's out there for you. Now, one thing that I do as well, I'm not dependent on my agents because I service as an agent myself. So I make my money with Arise working as an agent, and also I make my money with Arise from the agents that work for me. So it's kind of a combination. And that's the way that you want to successfully do it, at least until you build your business up large enough that you don't have to work anymore. And I'm glad that I don't have to work the clients anymore, but I want to because I enjoy doing it. So that's the best part for me. Anyway, that's my story. I could go on and on and on and on and on with a lot of other stuff, but right now I just wanted to share my story and my experience and let people know it's not a rise that is the problem, but sometimes you're dealing with defective IBOs. Anyway, enjoy your experience, and if you have any questions, hit me up. Take care.